Imagine I told you that your chance of winning the grand prize in the lottery is roughly 1 in 300 million. Do you know what that number actually means? It means you are more likely to be struck by lightning, more likely to become a movie star, more likely to be bitten by a shark while riding a bicycle. And yet, every single year, people spend billions of dollars on tickets, hoping that luck will finally smile on them, just once. In the United States alone, people spend over $100 billion annually on lottery tickets. That is more than what Americans spend on movies, music, and books combined. Let that sink in. More than entertainment, more than art, more than stories. Just hope, purchased one ticket at a time. Now here's the question that digs into the psychology of it. Who is actually buying these tickets? Studies show something that might surprise you. The majority of lottery players are not the wealthy. They are not the comfortable. They are people with limited income, people who desperately want to change their lives, people who see the ticket not as a game, but as a door. Economists have given this phenomenon a harsh name. They call it the dream tax, a tax on hope. Millions of people pay into a system where only one or two will ever win. The rest will simply wake up tomorrow and start dreaming again when the next draw comes around. Is buying a lottery ticket fun? It can be, as long as you treat it as entertainment, a few dollars for the thrill of possibility. But if you're waiting for it to be the path that changes your life, the statistics have a different opinion, and statistics don't care about your feelings. Now, let's talk about something that sounds like a joke but isn't. What is the easiest way to become wealthy? You might say investing. You might say starting a business. You might say real estate, or inventing something that changes the world. But the truth is, there's a path older than all of these, a path that requires zero effort from you, and that path is being born into the right family. Economic research estimates that somewhere between half and two-thirds of wealth in developed countries comes through inheritance, not because the recipients invented anything, not because they built companies from scratch, but because someone before them did all the work and left them the result. The most famous example is the Walton family. Sam Walton founded Walmart. After his passing, ownership stayed in the family. Today, the Waltons remain among the largest shareholders, and their collective wealth is measured in the hundreds of billions of dollars. The same pattern holds for the Mars family, the family behind the famous candy company. The wealth transferred from generation to generation, keeping them among the richest families on the planet. This doesn't mean heirs don't work at all. Some participate in management, but the starting point is fundamentally different from someone who begins with nothing. And don't think this only applies to billionaires. Inheritance changes lives at every level. Someone inherits an apartment and saves 20 years of rent. A woman receives help from her parents for a down payment on a house. A father leaves his children a shop or a piece of land. These are all forms of inheritance, and they represent the gap between someone who starts life at zero and someone who starts the race 10 laps ahead. Let me paint this picture for you. Imagine two friends. Both work the same job. Both earn the same salary. The first starts life paying rent every month. The second inherited an apartment from a grandparent. After 10 years, who will have saved more money? Who will be able to invest? Who will be able to buy a second property? Both worked hard, yes, but one of them started the match with the score already 1-0. The gap between those who inherit and those who don't isn't just about the ultra-wealthy. It's a divide that affects millions of people in ways they feel every single month. And if you clicked on this video hoping to learn how to get rich through inheritance, I'm sorry to disappoint you. That decision was made roughly 9 months before you were born. The 9 to 5. The moment someone tells you to get a job, you'll probably hear this. A job will protect you from poverty, but it will never make you wealthy. But the truth is more complicated than that. If you earn a steady salary, spend less than you make, and invest a portion of your income consistently, you can build significant wealth over time. The problem is that the hardest step isn't the work itself. The hardest step is not spending everything you have. Every time your salary increases, you'll want to upgrade the car, move to a more expensive apartment, increase your expenses, and at the end of the year, you discover that your salary grew, but your bank account is still empty. Over decades, stock markets have grown and delivered solid long-term returns. But the real secret isn't the percentage. The real secret is consistency and patience.
The path to wealth through a job exists, but it requires 30 or 40 years. And that is exactly why most people abandon this path and chase the faster ones. Real estate. Ask anyone who built wealth slowly and methodically. They will probably mention real estate. And the secret can be summed up in one word: leverage. Here's how it works. You don't need to pay the full price of a property. You put down a down payment and the bank finances the rest. When the property value increases, that increase is calculated on the total value, not just your down payment. So if you buy a property for $500,000 and put down $100,000, and after a few years it is worth $550,000, you made $50,000 on your $100,000 investment. That's a 50% return, while the property itself only went up 10%. And don't forget the rent. The tenant helps cover a large portion of your monthly mortgage payment. But you'll never hear anyone tell you that real estate is pure passive income, because it isn't. It requires capital, it requires market knowledge, it requires maintenance and dealing with tenants. And despite all these challenges, real estate remains one of the most stable paths to building long-term wealth. Crypto. If there's an investment that can create millionaires in record time, it's crypto. And if there's an investment that can wipe out someone's entire life savings in record time, it is also crypto. The strange thing is that sometimes the same person experiences both realities. In 2010, a programmer named Laszlo Hanyecz bought 2 pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoin. At the time, it was a fair deal. Today, those pizzas are worth hundreds of millions of dollars. On the other side, people entered during the media frenzy. They bought coins simply because they were trending, and after a few months, they discovered that 80 or 90% of their money had disappeared. This forces us to ask a hard question: who actually profited from crypto? Mostly the people who entered early and held on, or people who built real projects in the space, or traders who understood that massive gains always come with massive risk. But the person who bought because they saw a post on social media and threw their entire life savings into a coin with a dog picture, the ending is usually predictable. Crypto is not pure good or pure evil, but any investment that promises you unrealistic returns must be prepared to charge you the same price in the opposite direction. Content creation. 20 years ago, if someone told you they would become a millionaire by filming videos, you would think they were joking. Today, it's a real business. The most famous example is MrBeast. He started uploading videos when he was 13 years old. For years, almost nobody watched, but instead of quitting, he studied the platform obsessively. He improved his content. Every dollar he earned, he reinvested into the next video until he became one of the biggest creators in the world. But here's the thing about MrBeast. He is not the rule. He is the exception. I'm standing in front of you right now, and let me be honest, most of the subscribers to any channel don't even watch the videos. MrBeast is like a professional athlete. He's proof of what is possible for the absolute best in the field, not proof of what will happen to everyone who tries. The reality is that content creation can be a very profitable business, but it requires years of consistent work. The people who succeed are not the ones chasing a viral moment. They are the ones providing value and building trust with an audience over time, week after week, month after month, year after year. So, hit like and share this video. Maybe we'll become like MrBeast one day. Crime. This is a dark path, and nobody should ever consider walking it. But we need to talk about it so we can tell you clearly, don't. Yes, some people built massive fortunes through drug trafficking, fraud, and scams. Names like Pablo Escobar, Bernie Madoff, who ran the largest financial fraud in history. But the strange thing is that all their endings look remarkably similar. Escobar was killed at age 44. Madoff spent his final years in prison. Almost every story ends the same way. Lots of money, yes, but constant fear, running, court cases, prison cells, and in the end, the wealth itself vanishes. And here is a truth that spans philosophy and faith alike. Any wealth built on harm may grow for a season, but it never carries peace inside it. If you do the honest math, crime is not the fastest path to wealth. It is the fastest path to losing your money, your freedom, your peace, and your future. So leave that path to those who will regret it. Build your wealth in a way that lets you hold your head high. Business. If you look at the wealthiest people on earth, most of them reach their fortunes through business ownership. But there's something that many people ignore: About half of all new businesses don't survive their first 5 years, and of those that survive, only a small number generate massive wealth. But the massive wealth we hear about, they almost always started here. Look at Jeff Bezos. When he founded Amazon in 1994, he was selling books. Just books. He didn't announce that he would change the world. He started with an idea and grew it year after year.
And you don't need to build Amazon, a plumbing company, an accounting firm, a cleaning service, an online store specialized in a very specific product. Any of these can generate excellent income for the owner. The strange thing is that the businesses that actually profit are often not the ones people talk about. The lesson here is simple. You don't need to build a business that captures attention. Build a business that solves a problem. The money will follow. Choosing your life partner. This might be the strangest item on this list, but it is absolutely real. Choosing your life partner is one of the most important financial decisions you will ever make. This doesn't mean you should marry someone wealthy. That's not the point. The point is that the person you live with will share every financial decision you make. If they love saving, you will likely build a stronger future together. If they spend without thinking, you might both spend your lives chasing bills. The goal isn't to find someone rich. The goal is to find someone whose mindset about money aligns with yours. Someone who values security the way you do. Someone who thinks about the future the way you do. Choosing your life partner isn't just a decision that determines your happiness. It can determine your financial future for decades to come. Sports and entertainment. If the lottery depends on luck, then sports and entertainment depend on talent combined with years of relentless work. Look at LeBron James. He came from humble beginnings in Akron, Ohio. Today, he's one of the wealthiest athletes on the planet. But his wealth doesn't just come from his NBA contract. A massive portion of his income comes from endorsements, investments, and the businesses he's built. The same pattern holds for stars across the industry. But here is the full truth we have to say out loud. LeBron James is not the rule. He is the exception. For every athlete who reaches the professional leagues, there are thousands of talented players who trained for years and never made it. The same in music, the same in acting. There are thousands of incredible voices. Only a tiny fraction ever get their chance. And more importantly, even those who reach the top are not guaranteed to stay wealthy. A high income is not the same as wealth. True wealth is using your fame or your earnings to purchase assets and investments that continue to grow long after the spotlight fades. That is the difference between someone who earns money and someone who builds lasting wealth. So, after walking through all these paths, you may have arrived at a truth that matters more than any strategy. In the end, true wealth isn't just numbers in a bank account. It's not cars or mansions. True wealth is peace of mind. It is the deep, quiet feeling of enough. Some people have millions and live in constant anxiety. Others have modest means and sleep deeply every night, grateful for what they have. One of the oldest philosophical truths in human history says it this way: the man who knows enough is wealthy. The man who always needs more is poor regardless of his balance. So, work hard, take the practical steps, build your skills, start your business, invest wisely, but never make the mistake of believing that money alone brings happiness or that cutting corners will shorten the path. Every dollar you earn, you will be asked about. Where did it come from? How did you spend it? So seek honest provision, keep your intentions clean, give what is due, and know that the deepest wealth is never just in your wallet. It's in your mind, it's in your peace, it's in the quiet confidence of a life built on solid ground. If this video meant something to you, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and may your wealth be honest, your mind be peaceful, and your life be rich in all the ways that actually matter. This is the way.